Hi beautiful, I hope you are doing amazing today. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Christina Delgado. I'm so grateful and excited to be here with you today. Today's video is going to be all about resistance because I've been feeling it a lot. If you are not familiar with what resistance is, I'm actually gonna read it to you just because definitions I'm so serious about just getting correctly, because sometimes I just be using so many words that it's I could have just read the definition. Okay. Resistance is an energy tied up in holding, not feeling able to go with or give in. It's a push-pull energy in relationship to something, an idea, a challenge, between one part of us and another. For me, resistance just means I'm fully avoiding something. I'm putting off doing something. Within that, I'm procrastinating. I'm being very avoidant. Maybe my perfectionism comes in. There are a few different ways that I know that I respond to resistance, and that a lot of people actually respond to resistance. For example, one day you're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna start my dream business tomorrow. You feel it, the time is right, you're in it, you know exactly what you want for yourself, you know what you're capable of, you know what you can do, you know what you want for yourself, and then you have to take the step to do it, right? And you just put it off. Maybe you said you wanted to start your own podcast and you said you were gonna do it and the time keeps going. You start to put it off. It's not feeling very exciting because you're avoiding going up to the mic. You're afraid, really. Resistance tends to come down to fear. It's all ego-based. So maybe you're just afraid of putting yourself out there and failing in front of people, or just failing for yourself. So that's maybe a reason deep down why you're feeling so much resistance towards actually recording your first episode. For me, for some reason, I just feel really kind of embarrassed to admit it, but my loved ones, and honestly, not even my loved ones, you guys, you probably notice. So I feel the most resistance right now in my life when it comes to communication with anyone and everyone. Not verbally, talking to people, whatever, right? I have a vlog, I have a podcast, I create content. I'm always talking, I feel like there's always something that I can be saying. So I don't necessarily struggle to communicate in that way. What I do struggle with is anything that's not the creative piece of my job, admin stuff, responding back to comments. It's I get comments from people, or I'll get people that reach out that I'm friends with and they're like, oh my gosh, let's get together, let's hop on a Zoom meeting, or I suggest hopping on a Zoom meeting. There's sometimes it feels like there's so many steps that come with just one response or one line of communication with someone, and that's where I really struggle with. And it's funny because in 2020, before I started my inner work journey, I was always immediately texting people back. If I didn't text people back, I would feel really bad about it. If people didn't immediately text me back, I would internalize it and feel really bad about it, just make it seem like it must mean something about me. I actually remember my ex at the time, we kind of had a weird thing. We were figuring out if we were going to be together, whatever. And there were a few days where he just would forget to text me back or just wouldn't text me back. And I blew a fucking gasket over it. I was pissed off because I was like, well, you must not like me enough. And I still stand by that. But the point is that it's I've done a complete shift in that, and I've learned to detach from things so hard sometimes that it feels like I actually self-sabotage and I put myself in this space. The problem with that is I want to connect with anyone and everyone that I can. I want to connect back with you when you comment on my stuff. I want to connect back with you when you're in my DMs. I want to connect with you when I'm commenting and hyping you up on your pictures and we start a conversation about maybe hanging out in the DMs, right? I want to do those things. And I feel so much stickiness towards it. I know the kind of impact that I want to have on the world. I know the kind of impact I want to have in the self-improvement, spirituality world. And I know how badly, ultimately, I just want to serve and help people in this world. And for the goals and dreams that I have and the vision that I have, I will be communicated with a lot more than I'm being communicated with now. I don't want to make it seem like I'm my DMs are popping and every everyone's like, oh my gosh, like it's not even really like that. It's just at a place where it's tough for me to manage because I do work a 9 to 5. So I have a full-time corporate job and I do recruiting. So it's talking a lot. It's always phone screens, always meetings, you know, coaching hiring managers. It's constant like output of energy. And my energy for my corporate job is very different from my energy with my content. So I come at both with different energies, but they both take a lot of my energy. The only difference is that my corporate job takes my energy and dulls it. It doesn't light me up. It doesn't fill my cup up. And my podcast, content creation, vlogging, you know, all of that stuff fills my cup back up. It excites me. It invigorates me. It makes me really, really excited. So while I'm really grateful for that, there's just a lot of balance that has to happen. I was good at balancing it at one point, but at some point recently, I've just fully dropped the ball. It almost feels like it's hard to come back from. And that itself, that feeling has been having a negative impact on me. I've been feeling a lot of anxiety this weekend. You know, I'm having to like go back to conversations with like my head down and like apologize a million times for not getting back to people. And it's hard because I also am a recovering people pleaser. So trying to find the balance with that as well. But ultimately, the fact of the matter is this is not how I want to live my life. This is not how I want to run my business. This is not how I want to treat the different people that I'm connecting with every single day. It's not how I want to run shit. And what I'm doing right now, it's simply a bad habit. And it's impacting my bigger goal, my purpose, my bigger why. My higher self is screaming at me because I have to figure this out. Just to give you an idea of how rough these are, I had a friend, it's her birthday. She's having a big birthday party. She invited me to it. I had possible conflicting plans for that weekend. So I need to clarify with the person I originally had plans for so I could go ahead and figure out if I could show up for this other friend at her birthday. The weekend came by that I told her that I would let her know, and I completely forgot. Not only did I completely forgot, I continued to just completely forget. And it would come to my mind and be like, oh my gosh, I have to reach out to so-and-so. And then I just wouldn't. I would be in the middle of something else and I'd be like, okay, I need to remember to do that later. And then I just never did it. And it has literally been like 1 month since I texted her, since I told her I was gonna let her know. I fully dropped the ball. You know, I apologize. But the point is like, how many times can you apologize for the same thing, you know? And like, really like how many times can I apologize to myself for the same thing without changing it, right? Like we gotta shift the energy. When you feel like you just have, you know, a bad habit, or maybe you wanna get back in the gym, right? Like get in shape, yet you'd rather do anything and everything but go to the gym and actually take yourself there. You're feeling a lot of resistance. It's this inner pull that's like, no, come back here. You don't really want that. And that's because of our ego. Our ego is here to keep us safe. A lot of people are like, down with the ego. We hate the ego. Kill the ego. I completely disagree with that. I think our ego is our friend, but we have to bring in balance. We have to know how our ego is showing up for us, how it in one way is protecting us, and also how it is low-key sabotaging us in a sense, right? It's telling us, no, Christina, it's been too long since you've reached out to that person, so you might as well just wait until it's the perfect opportunity or time to reach out to them because it's already been so long. You know, there's just so many things that go into it. And the biggest thing that I have learned about resistance, and that I'm relearning during this time right now, is that resistance is just part of the process. You know, you can look at resistance as it's screwing me over, my ego hates me, I'm never gonna succeed, the voice in my head tells me I'm not enough. You could go down this rabbit hole of hating the way that you're feeling and hating that you're kind of sabotaging yourself, or you could open your eyes, analyze the information that you have, and make moves to see things different. Resistance is part of the process. Resistance is a beautiful thing, right? Contrast. Resistance shows you exactly what you need to overcome to get to the next step, because the most beautiful part about this is that when you feel resistance to do something, even when it's something you're so motivated to do and you want to do so bad, when you feel resistance to go do that thing, it likely means that there's a breakthrough on the other side. There's a breakthrough around the corner for me. Point blank period. And I can already feel that because I am taking life into my own hands. I'm taking my business, I'm taking my brand, I'm taking who I am into my own hands, and I am changing it, because what is going on right now, I don't like. It makes me feel guilty. It makes me feel anxiety. And I've worked really, really hard to keep those kind of low vibrational feelings out of my system. And it's my responsibility to change the game. So that's what I'm gonna go do. Also, in a couple of days, it's a full moon in Virgo. Full moons are meant to release. And this full moon in Virgo is really bringing up to the top the things that we're avoiding or the things that we're running away from. So this Virgo full moon gives us the perfect opportunity to change our reality. I am a Virgo moon, a Virgo sun. I have other Virgo placements, big Virgo girl. So it's so funny that this is coming down to this weekend where I'm officially like, okay, I can't avoid it any longer. Like it's actually swallowing me, all the guilt and these weird emotions and feelings that I'm feeling. I feel sick. So I love that this Virgo full moon is fully showing up for me. And if you are watching this during the Virgo full moon, or really ever, but if you are wanting to use this Virgo full moon to your advantage, this full moon in Virgo is meant for propelling you forward. It's meant for forward momentum. So I'm using all of this full moon energy to use that to my advantage today. So what we're gonna do is I'm going to either go to a local coffee shop or I might just go down to my apartment. You know, like apartments have little community centers. I might just do that and maybe like snag some tea because I think they have some tea downstairs. I might just do that just so I don't have to like leave my apartment. It's Sunday, okay? I'm feeling like Sunday, peaceful, rest vibes. And once I officially knock all this off my to-do list, I'm going to feel so much better and I'm just gonna wanna come home and start prepping some of my food for next week and cleaning up my apartment a little bit. So I think, yeah, I just answered my own question. We're actually definitely just gonna use the apartment. I mean, I pay enough for these amenities, right? Might as well. I have a to-do list of about 15 tasks to do. And these are all just like specific communicational tasks of like me getting back to people in some way or another. So there are 15 things that I have just been fully avoiding. I think I'm gonna time myself when I start working on all of this because I'm just so curious to see how long this actually takes. Like for me, it feels like all of this would take like a solid 2 hours to actually really get back to, which still really isn't even a lot. But watch this shit take like 30 minutes. I would actually die because that's the thing about like procrastination, avoidance, resistance. Like once you just do the thing, you get into a flow and it really works well energetically. So let's go get our Virgo full moon energy, get shit done. Mama ain't raised no bitch, work done. We shall catch up after. What the fuck? Okay, I said fuck the tea because I opened literally 4 tea bags and they all had holes in them. This is the space where it's all gonna be worked out. Okay, we have our brown noise on. Let's go ahead and start the timer and let's get rid of that resistance. Okay, we got an hour, 14 minutes, 28 seconds. So not quite the 2 hours that I felt like it would be, but these were just so simple. This is how it always is. It's like the simplest things are the things that I like put off, and it was so good to like connect with my people and just finally get back to them. But yeah, 1 hour and 14 minutes. I feel like I just like got so much accomplished. Look at that full moon in Virgo. She is shining oh so bright. So I ended up just coming home and falling right to sleep, but I want to do an overall recap. I feel really accomplished from literally only doing 1 hour pretty much of work yesterday, but it's the exact hour of work that I needed. And I've just been thinking on resistance overall and, you know, really pushing through resistance and that uncomfortability and really just pushing past your fears to get to the life that you want, to get to the goal that you want, to get to that that thing that you want. I think with resistance, sometimes we just don't feel like we're capable enough, or we just don't feel like we have enough gas in the tank to do the thing, or we're terrified of finally getting up and going to, start that book, start that podcast, right? Like get that creative flow. And we're nervous that what if it doesn't flow? Like, what if it just doesn't happen for us? I think that's a lot of fear that can go through so many of us, amongst other things on top of that. And what I want to stress to you is that you are so capable, and you wouldn't be given the opportunity if the opportunity wasn't meant for you. If you weren't meant to show up, if you didn't have what it takes inside to do the thing. And I think resistance can be looked at as such a bad thing, but it can also be a great thing and an opportunity to push past what you think your limit is. And honestly, that is kind of what happened for me yesterday. On top of that, not only just pushing past the limit that I thought that I had, but also incorporating systems to continue to push past the limit so that resistance doesn't come back in the same way to bite me in the ass, or at least try to bite me in the ass. So before we go, I just want to recap all of the steps that I took yesterday and today to really step up and push past this resistance so I can go after my dreams and chase the life that I'm meant to live. Step number 1, awareness. Be self-aware enough to recognize when you may be avoiding or sabotaging, or when something that really is exciting to you or motivating to you doesn't feel as motivating anymore, and in turn maybe might feel a little scary. Grab your journal, call a friend, talk to yourself in the mirror, whatever's the best way to get introspective, but ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What is happening? Where am I feeling this sensation in my body? Is there something I'm fearing? If so, what could I be fearing in this moment? It's so important to do the introspective work, because that is what makes us realize that that resistance, that thing that's scaring us so bad, simply doesn't have power over us, because you know the root, you know where it's coming from. That's why I am so passionate about healing and inner work and journaling and being introspective and going within, is because the moment that you choose to dig deeper and question yourself and find the root of things is the moment that you're free, because you know exactly where this fear is coming from, and because you know where this resistance is coming from in your body, you're able to push past it. Step number 3, you may notice that I decided to either go to a coffee shop or go downstairs to my kind of community center, whatever. That is a huge thing that I've learned. I work my 9 to 5 remotely. I do so much of my content in my home. I do all of my editing, all of my podcast recordings. Everything is done within my apartment. And sometimes it's great to just get an energetic shift. It feels like I just kind of can't get work done in here, because I'm always in here all the time. And when I'm doing something out of a space of creativity and my sole purpose, it's so helpful for me to actually change locations. Obviously, it depends on what you're feeling resistance with, but if it's some sort of project, or even if you are feeling resistance towards going within, maybe changing the environment and switching up where you're doing this thing at. Step 4, implement a strategy to get ahead of the resistance. Yesterday, I did 1 hour of that work. That was great, but that's just not enough. What am I going to do moving forward? What can you do moving forward to make sure that you're getting ahead of that resistance that may be coming your way another time? For example, for me, I've decided to wake up 30 minutes to an hour earlier every day, just so I can go ahead and answer the text messages, comment back to the comments, just get all of the responses in my business out of the way. And that way, at least I know I had one touch point for that day. And that makes me feel satisfied, at least for now. And that's a system that I think will work for me moving forward. This is my 2nd day of doing it, and I genuinely already feel a decrease in my anxiety, because I got ahead of the anxiety. I got ahead of feeling this pent up fear because I'm avoiding something. I just decided, let me implement a strategy to simply not avoid. So definitely figure out a strategy depending on what it is that you may be feeling resistance with, to make sure that you can get ahead of that resistance. Step 5, not really a step, just a general guideline. Try to reframe your thoughts. Try to reframe resistance and why this uncomfortable feeling is coming for you. Maybe this resistance is just coming for you so you can learn and feel the experience of pushing past the resistance, so you're prepared and able to hold on to the goals, the dreams, the life that you want moving forward. I recognize that this whole weekend of feeling this heavy resistance and honestly feeling like shit about myself for a minute came to me because it's an opportunity. It was an opportunity for me to go within. It was an opportunity for me to call myself out and hold myself accountable accountable. It was an opportunity for me to practice what I preach, right? Lead by example. And it's an opportunity to be so much better. So moving forward, my communication and building community, which is literally my goal, will come to me even stronger without apprehension. So make sure that you reframe resistance and reframe any negative thoughts that you're thinking and cut the negative self-talk, okay? I know that depending on what you've been feeling resistance for, you may be feeling bad about yourself, feeling like you're not good enough, like you're not capable, like nobody else has to struggle with this, like maybe your dreams shouldn't come true, maybe that life goal that you have isn't really meant for yours, maybe you just don't have what it takes. Cut that out. We are not doing that. That is just putting you even further away from the goal in the life that you want. So instead of saying you can't, change it to I can and figure out a strategy to figure out the how. And the last step to push through resistance is to attack that thing. Push through the resistance and know that you are capable and know that you're given this opportunity for a reason. And know that this video is something that you can like and save, subscribe, always come back to so you don't feel like you're having to do it alone. Because let me tell you, this will not be the first time that I'll probably be talking about resistance on my channel and content overall. Resistance will probably come back for me. You know why? Because that's part of the process and it's there to help me grow and learn. And that's why resistance is in your life too. It's here to propel us. It's here to help us and push us forward and give us the stamina and the strength to figure out how to do that ourselves instead of letting the resistance just fully take us down and pull us out of the game. We are not fucking doing that. We have come too far. We know too much about ourselves. We work so hard. We want a better life for a reason and we're dreaming of that better life and that goal and that thing that we want so bad because it's meant for us and we already have it. It's just a matter of following through on what you say you want to do and what you say you're going to do, even if it's super sticky and uncomfortable, because you are so fucking capable. Seriously. I'm like actually sweating right now. I don't have a bra on. I need to make sure. Woo. I'm hot. I'm getting fired up because I know how crippling this resistance can feel. And I just want you to know that you have got this. And if you have come across this video, it is meant to teach you something. It's meant to show you something. So take it, thank God in the universe, and take these lessons and move forward and use them. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. I hope that this video has helped you. Thank you for working through my shit with me. I'm working through stuff. You're working through stuff. We're all working through shit in this world that has so much going on. And I want us to help each other, hold each other's hands and guide us through the process. So I hope that this video helped. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm new around here, but I do not plan on leaving anytime soon. So I'm excited to continue to build our relationship and support each other through the inner work and healing and just general crazy life journey. I'm sending you so much love and I hope you have the best day ever. You deserve it.